Okay, so it will be lively once again in the discussions. Or, after years, Marvel returned to San Diego at the prestigious Comic-Con with its traditional one-hour panel. And even though Kevin Feige promised to focus on the next 3 films, so the fourth Cap, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four, which was also confirmed, he also took care of a proper nuclear war within the new Avengers, and thanks to the return of Downey to the MCU. Let's discuss this madness. I understand that you all want to jump straight to the very end for the meat and the biggest news, but I like to stick to chronology, so I'll kick it off with the first segment that belonged to the fourth Cap, subtitled The New World, which will arrive in theaters on February 13, 2025. He was introduced to us relatively recently in the first teaser, and the reactions were rather mixed, so Anthony Mackie as the new Cap will definitely not have an easy time with the audience. At the panel, it was again heard that the new film wants to be thematically and emotionally closer to the popular Winter Soldier. I.e. more the espionage, more intimate and political thriller with elements of action from above, but of course it has to be a little different, if only because Sam Wilson, unlike Steve Rogers, does not abound in super serum and is an ordinary human of flesh and blood. So he relies more on the support of people around him and on his technical devices, which, considering how in the trailer, using the suit and helmet, he flies through the now Peru fighter jet, so I have trouble believing these promises in any way. Tim Blake Nelson appeared on the scene, returning to the role of leader after many years from an incredible hiatus. There was Danny Ramirez, who plays the new Falcon, and Giancarlo Esposito, who weeks after and months later refuted the previous rumors about who he actually plays and shocked everyone with the following announcement.
I am the king of the Serpent Society, Sidewinder!
In this case, Marvel has completely gone for comic book accuracy, because from the photos, there is absolutely no resemblance to the prototypes of this character. To make matters worse, in addition to the Serpent Society and the leader operating in the background, he will also have to take care of Red Hulk, into which Ross, played by Harrison Ford, will transform in the film, who claimed that he watched Marvel for years and simply wanted to enjoy this entertainment. And honestly, this more than 80-year-old nice guy on the panel caused the biggest uproar thanks to his Hawk imitation. Of course, there was also new material being shown, the description of which got out, so I can tell you that the theory about the Celestial in the water from the Eternals has been confirmed. As Ross in the White House talks about their bodies being made of adamantium and obtaining this metal is highly important. Next, there is a conversation with Cap, where Ross tries to put past disputes behind him and explains that he himself should give up New Avengers and unite the broken nation with them too. This was followed by action sequences in which Sam gets a new costume. He tries to fly away from the rockets, then he flies around the aforementioned Tiamat in the water and collides with the Sidewinder. The ending included a scene where Cap walks next to Falcon, who is in a full green costume, and the final scene was directed at Ross, who transforms into Red Hulk on stage at the White House and roars solidly. The second segment of the Marvel panel belonged to the Thunderbolts, where the vast majority of the team appeared on stage, but by far the Red Guardian representative David Harbour shone the most.
Come here today to introduce you to the brand new team of heroes! Oh my god, you guys didn't dress up?
Again, the question arose as to what the asterisk at the end of the name means. However, the director refused to answer, and that we will only find out in the cinema. Of course, the actors bragged about how they make up one twisted family and how much fun it was to film this team up. But nothing really interesting happened, although Wyatt Russell's announcement about his US agent made me happy.
Hey Wyatt, what can you tease about your character in Thunderbolts?
Everyone's gonna fucking love me.
Avengers Tower next, US agent reading a newspaper detailing his exploits, followed by Jelena fighting soldiers in a narrow corridor, reminiscent of Black Widow's sequence from Iron Man 2, before entering a room and shooting her US agent. Then Ghost appears, who is on Jelena's side, and actor Lewis Pullman emerges from the other side in a hospital gown, and everyone is shocked that they met here. Jelena then explains in the next scene that each of them got the same job and someone obviously wants to get rid of them. Everything then ends with a scene where Bucky meets Valentina and puts on a new arm. By the way, it didn't occur to Lewis Pullman that he was playing the Sentry, so obviously there is still some mystery surrounding him, and the actor joked that they can call him Bob for now. If this is just some unnecessary obfuscation, or if there really is an unexpected twist with this character, we will find out only in the cinemas on the 4th of May 2025. The third film to be discussed was the long-awaited Fantastic Four, which of course welcomed the Central Four characters to the stage, in addition to director Matt Shekman, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn and Ivan Bachrach. However, the most important thing was happening on the screen behind them, because we learned that the film will start shooting on Tuesday only on IMAX cameras. The music will be composed by Michael Giacchino and the team's new film will bear the title First Steps. The director claimed that they are doing their best to make fans love the film and they are consulting, for example, the heroic abilities of physics theorists and doing loads of tests, both computer and practical, which must have led them to desert landscapes, where they tried to dig up the best possible rubble for the form of thing. Honestly, his words really radiated passion, so maybe it's not PR bullshit and it will be as original a project as it is described so far. If only because, unlike other MCU films, here we will look into another universe and get a retro setting. In the 1960s, where the beautiful comic book inspiration of retro-futuristic designs could be seen even from the projected concept trailer, we were able to see some pretty solid shots in this motion preview. We learned that Reed Richards and Ben Grimm are professors. There were a few snippets of their journey into space. Johnny will have comic book blonde hair, by the way, and Sue and Ben also participate in some kind of weird dating show where Sue whispers to the camera that her brother is single. This very pleasant and positive vibe then breaks the end of the demonstration with the arrival of Galactus. This is supported by Ralph Ineson, who overshadows all the buildings with his enormity. At the end, a model of a fantastic vehicle in the form of a modified Cadillac spilled into the hall. And it was generally known that this project is the most bet on in the future. So hopefully in the summer of 2025 we will see a real banger. Well, then it came to the more distant future and Kevin Feige talked about another pair of Avengers films. When the Russo brothers are back slogan appeared on the screen. Sure, I've already covered it in the mixtapes and it's been widely speculated, but the Russos brothers are officially coming back, and after Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, they're taking on probably the two most important films in the MCU, which at the end of the sixth phase awaits. By the way, the screenwriter of their films will be there, which is perhaps even better news than their presence. The directors then added on stage that after Endgame they really thought it was over and had nothing more to offer Marvel. But over time they realized that they couldn't miss an event the size of Secret Wars. After all, they mentioned it several times in the comics themselves, and the fact that it is a massive event in which dozens to hundreds of characters and different universes collide, but they simply cannot leave it to anyone else. Then they also added that even before we see Avengers Secret Wars, which will be in 2027, they need to flesh out the whole story and give it some basics. Well, those foundations lie in one particular character, which is also key to the comic event, and that is why the previous 5 Avengers were renamed Doomsday. Yes, Kong is gone and Doom is taking over. And to make matters worse, this happened on stage.
We give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
New mask. Same task. What can I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
Well, I just don't know. I understand that seeing Downey back is great for many fans, but damn, does he really have to play Doom? Wouldn't it be better if, after the fiasco with Kong, he played just one of the variants of this character and somehow meaningfully concluded everything with the multiversions? Now why so violently throw the switch and focus on another villain? Sure, there's that super famous event in the comics where Iron Man becomes this character. And it's actually quite interesting thematically. Either you die a hero or you're reborn as a villain, all of which is pretty cool. Plus of course the other heroes won't have it easy at all when they fight against a figure who of course resembles their good friend who sacrificed himself for the Select world. I kind of understand where the perseverance come from and what they mean here, but I have questions here as to why. The process has to be rushed, And in about 3 years we will get Doom for the first time in a big team, where there will be absolutely no time to get to know him better, to dissect him. The character is so complex, so badass, and great to build just across different movies. Every now and then he could peek out, pull, and when the audience was really fed up, then bam, he appears as the main character and turns everything upside down. But here in the MCU, not only will the Fantastic Four lose their archenemy, and obviously the line with his trip to space plus the friendship he has with the family will not be processed, but he will also be played by the old Tony Stark, which automatically means that it won't be a full-fledged Doom, but just some variant of it. At the same time, so many actors would be absolutely brilliant in the role, and it would make absolutely no mess in the perception of the character. Don't get me wrong, Downey is a total dude and I really like him, but I find this really cringeworthy and actually really unfortunate. This is a safe bet for fans who don't really care if it makes sense in the future, but mainly that they will see a familiar face. Oh yeah. In short, I'm not twice bound by it, and while it certainly gives a great performance, I'm afraid it won't be the Doom I'd like. What I would like, on the other hand, is your opinions, your feedback and possibly support in the form of likes, subscriptions and shares. Anyway, everything from me. Have a great time and see you again next time.